I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat.
I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are. With great power comes great responsibility. I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
And welcome, Internet, to another episode of Views from the 616, the Blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by For All Nerds, where we discuss everything in the MCU from the perspective of people of color. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. the life and times of Sharon Carter, a.k.a. T'Challa Bread, AR Lord, Fax the Destroyer, Wicked Witch of the West View, and the coldest winter soldier ever, along with my co-host.
That's right, back here in the spaceship, it's your boy, DJ Benhameen, a.k.a. the Brother Voodoo Child, holla, 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 the Black Adam Warlock, Lieutenant Good Trouble, the Off-White Panther, Power Toker, John. Walk it out, I walk it out, I walk it out. The Sad Titan.
I love that one. I forgot about that new one.
I couldn't finish. Hank Grimm, here. Yeah. I ain't got nothing for this week though. No.
Well, let me throw in one that I meant to say, but I forgot. Tesseract Thompson.
There you go.
That's my thing. I love that one.
Now we're done with them.
Now we're done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Appreciate you giving us the extra time to do our AKAs. But yes, this is Views from the 616, and we are back to discuss What If. This time, What If episode 4, titled What If Doctor Strange Lost His Heart Instead of His Hands? Now, don't let the wishy-washy title fool you, okay? Because this was a freaking dark, effed up episode of and I want to say of massive proportions, but it's only episode 4. And I know we have not seen even the tip of the worst when it comes to dark episodes of What If. Benhameen knows it for sure firsthand, considering that he is a connoisseur of the What If comic book series. And is basically has already warned us last week. He was just like, y'all don't know what we're in for, right? Or we don't know what we're in for, right, Ben?
Yes, but I do believe that this might be as dark as you can get. The destruction of one's whole universe. I'm not sure, and while you are left behind to mourn it, I don't know much darker you can get than this. This actually reminded me more of the movies Creep Show, for anyone who's seen those from the 80s, where it's like these self-contained little horror stories. It'd be like 4 horror stories in each one, and each one of those would end terribly for everyone involved. It wasn't like no horror story where they murdered the monster at the end. Right. No, the monster murdered them at the end.
Right.
Every time. And so that's how this felt. Like, ugh.
Like, I understand not wanting every story to be happy-go-lucky. Like, sometimes the good guys lose. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. And not calling Doctor Strange a good person, but I'm just saying sometimes the things you don't think should happen to that person happen anyway. And this episode took the cake for me. The basic plot is Doctor Strange plays God and pays for it.
Facts. Everyone does. I mean, not so much him as everyone else.
You're right. Everyone in the universe, in this particular universe, pays for his arrogance, his hubris, his what else? What other definition or the source words you want to throw in there? Because I just felt like
his ego,
white toxicity wins again. Like I that could be the second, the subtitle of this episode. Right. Wong was right. That's the third title of this episode. I mean, it was wild, but I really enjoyed it. And I had mentioned last week I wasn't really feeling episode 3. This episode, even in its darkest hour, lifted my spirits. Just in terms of the What If series, it really when you compare it to the Doctor Strange film, which is a lot of pieces of the film are in this episode, I felt like, damn, this was pretty much up there. Like, for it to be a 35-minute episode, this was up there on the Marvel class of feature films in terms of story.
Yeah, I fully agree. And it started off to me where I was like, oh, okay, we on some Final Destination. All right, let's see where this goes. And then it was like, oh, that's a twist. Okay. And then it's like, oh, that's another twist. And it's like, all right, we nearing the end. Where's the twist to make this all better?
For the robot chicken people. The robot chicken people. What a twist.
Yeah. There's twist at the end. It's just like, this does not get better. This just proceedingly worse for everyone involved.
Exceedingly worse. And this all, as all the episodes, there is a single choice, i.e. or e.g. a nexus event that causes in this case, lots of riffraff. And as they said, now the title says, instead of Doctor Strange losing his ability to use his hands, as we see in the film, that Doctor Strange, he gets into this horrific car crash due to his arrogance and trying to, speed around in his Lambo. I assume it was a Lambo. After that, he ends up losing the ability to use his hands, and he's this world-renowned doctor and his surgeon, and his hands are his livelihood. His hands, at least up until that point, is what makes him, or that's how he feels. Without his hands, he's nobody. And this time around, in the
he can't catch these hands.
Why'd you say that, Ben? This time around, in the What's If episode,
I'm not sure if he caught those hands or his hands caught
in this What If episode.
I think that's what it is.
It's a couple things that are different here. In the movie, he was driving by himself and he got into that horrible crash. And, in this What If episode, the actual scene plays out damn near exactly the same. In fact, the part that is literally the same is an animated version of how the car went over the ravine and flipped into it was shot for shot the same.
Yep.
The difference here is that Christine Palmer, Dr. Christine Palmer, who that's his girl, she is a passenger in the car and she ends up dying in this violent car crash. And what the Watcher said is it's his grief that drives Strange to learn the mystic arts. And then eventually, at least one part of him tries to bring Christine back using this knowledge that he has.
Yes. Well, all parts of him tried to, and then parts of him got...
Well, this is the part where I said now things are getting, and I don't mean this as the pun, but things start getting strange because to me, there's multiple Nexus events happening in this episode. Like, yeah, we just saw the fact that, and again, and this is what, let me start over because this is why I asked that question last in episode 3 of our review. I asked that question, are these timelines they can't be the exact same of what we know of the sacred timeline because this episode proves that. This episode shows Christine as a passenger in the car, and according to what we learn later, this is what was supposed to happen in that universe. She was always supposed to be a passenger, and she was always supposed to die.
Yes.
So in the film... No.
She was always
supposed to die. We understand that. But my point is, in this timeline, it doesn't negate what I just said. In this timeline, Christine is in the mix. In the movie, she was not part of that equation whatsoever. She's not what drove Doctor Strange to go learn the mystic arts. It was him losing the use of his hands and him feeling like, oh, I'm nobody now.
Yes, that's the difference. What if Doctor Strange loses his heart instead of his hands? That's that is like the Nexus event in our universe or in the MCU is Doctor Strange loses his hands. The Nexus event in this universe is Doctor Strange loses his heart. Everything else after that, becomes part of it. So in this one, the Nexus event and the absolute point, I guess, are but it's
well, the reason, and let me dive further because I had just said also I feel like there's multiple Nexus events, and the reason why I'm saying that is because. Like as you see, as Doctor Strange keeps continuing what he's doing, which is, as we learned, he's ripping up the time-space continuum in that universe. Like his actions are causing more issues that to me are additional Nexus events on top of the original one, which is him trying to continue to bring Christine back. Like every time he does this and uses the eye and keeps doing and then starts absorbing these creatures and all sorts of shit he's doing, he's causing more and more rifts or tears in reality.
All right. See, I think that's something. All right. Our original definition, right, or idea of what a Nexus event was coming from the Loki series, right? It was a Nexus event with something that split the timeline, right? Right. Now we are living in a multiverse where there are innumerable splits of the timeline. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. We've seen that because it's like when we saw the branches, we'd see one branch and then there'd be 10 branches from that branch. And then from one of those branches, there'd be another 10. So it's innumerable. It becomes the cells of your body type of thing, or the sands in the ocean, whatever. The grains of sand in the ocean, however you want to say it. That's how many branches we are in right now. So that's the multiverse. So I think the idea of Nexus events are not as a big deal, I'd say. Not that they're not important, but it's like, yeah, that's not the big deal right now. Now, like, the big deal in this story is this absolute point event for Doctor Strange, which is the death of
Christine Palmer.
Yeah,
and it's a new term that gets thrown out there, like on top of all the stuff we've learned in Loki, and now we're learning in What If. Now we get another concept that's explained by the Ancient One, which is, as Ben said, the absolute point, which is an unchangeable, immutable event in time that can't be reversed or changed. And as we keep saying, in this case, it's the death of Christine, because as the Ancient One says, that death in this universe is what drives Doctor Strange to become essentially they actually say it verbatim, that he becomes a sorcerer supreme, because this drives him to learn the mystic arts. This drives him to learn more about what he can do. And in this case, he's also, that's what I'm saying, it's just so different the way they've played this one. And the way they've broken reality several times over.
Well, the one thing that the absolute point is akin to is in the Doctor Who universe, they have what they call fixed points in time, which are immutable points in time. They cannot be changed no matter what you do. And it's also, this episode confirms what the Hulk was talking about in Endgame, because he's like, your past becomes your future. Or your future, whatever he said. I don't even want to get into that pretzel loop right there. But basically what he says, if you go back in the past and killed Hitler, that would just be the reality. Hitler would have always been dead. And also the universe will correct things to make it where, it is like, not even that, it's like, you won't be able to kill Hitler. Things are what they are. You can't change what it is now. Like, that's the thing about Endgame. And that's something I've seen discussed, and we're going to talk about the Spider-Man trailer in a bit on this episode as well. But because of that, people are like, yo, how does he have the time stone? How does he have the Eye of Agamotto around his neck? And I actually was arguing or discussing, I was saying I was wrong with somebody on the net. And I was like, yo, everything, all the stones went back to their place when Captain America put them back. Whoop, whoop. So thusly, the Ancient One has it. Thusly, Stephen has it. Wrong. Because things still happened. Everyone was still blipped out of existence, and everyone was still returned 5 years later. Stephen Stone was still destroyed, when Thanos destroyed the stones.
So how does he have the stone in that trailer?
That's the question.
That's what I'm trying to...
But that's what I'm saying. It is not the stone that we know, because, or maybe not even the Stephen that we know, is my theory, because the stone is gone. Doctor Strange, we know, does not have it. No one in our universe has an Infinity Stone. They've all been destroyed, unless Loki snatched some out of the TVA at one point. Other than that, they're all gone.
Okay. Well, then, let's then talk about that trailer, because since this is part of this conversation. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And it's part of and we mentioned that doing themes for What If is difficult because there's so many different things going on. So we have general thoughts to talk about. And this time we're going to go into the manipulation and alteration of timelines, and also the No Way Home comparison, because besides Doctor Strange, the film, there's also some, to me, this episode could potentially be a primer into what to expect in No Way Home, or at least how to approach No Way Home. As we are alluding to, is this even Doctor Strange that we know from the sacred timeline, quote unquote? Is this a different guy? We've said it, and there's theories out there in the streets that say, yo, Doctor Strange was acting mad sus in the trailer, and he was and not to say again, and it's a little difficult, and maybe the masterfulness of how Marvel does things, because Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, he's already egotistical. He's already arrogant. So he does have that in his character to do some shit, like decide he want to take it upon himself to change time to help a friend, or just because he fucking can, right? But also it's like, bro, this is fucked up. If you are the same person who was just in fucking Endgame, or not Endgame, but Infinity War before you got dusted, you shouldn't be toying with things like this. So why would he? Oh, because my little friend, my little 16-year-old buddy said to do this. Like, you're gonna do it?
I mean, there's obviously more to it than that. And the Marvel trailers, like we say, are probably lying to us. One, two.
Who is that nigga? And it looks like they're kind of, and at one point, it looks like they're fighting. It looks like the girls are fighting in the trailer. So what's happening?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think there are at least 2 different Stephen Stranges in the trailer. I could be completely wrong about this. But yeah, I do believe that there's 2 in the trailer because at one point he's helping them. And at the other point, he's basically screaming on them for helping them in the 5 minutes before. He's like, you done fucked with the timeline. He's like, nigga, you was right there. Like, you know, you was in the room. You know, like, what are you talking about, dog? So, yeah. But I do think that this episode, not so much, like I said, like a lot of people keep thinking that these episodes are leading to another episode of What If. Like, people are like, well, now we get Marvel Zombies. He didn't kill the universe. I'm like, no. Marvel Zombies is somebody killing the universe in another universe. You know, this is just my man ending this universe.
Right. I'm still holding out that episode 3 does lead into like a part 2 and part 3, whatever. But I think episode 4 of What If is, as you say, like it was trying to show you the beginning and the end. It was showing you the end of the world. And as predictably shown, that was, you know, open and shut case.
I think what we are going to get out of What If is the Exile series, because that's another property that Marvel has, and we talked about it a little bit before, but Exiles is the series where it's a bunch of characters bouncing around the multiverse, and all of them are from different multiverses. And that's the one I was saying about where Saladin Ahmed wrote it, where at one point there's a Western-themed T'Challa running around with a cartoon, like Spider-Ham version of Wolverine.
Wait, this is Spider-Verse?
No, this is the Exile series.
I'm just saying the idea. You just said Western version of cartoon
he's not
version?
a spider. He's not like a Wolverine animal. He's a little cartoon version of Wolverine. He's like a Wolverine from a cartoon world.
Like a chibi anime version? Okay.
Yes, yeah, like a little cute, deadly version of Wolverine. So I think that's what we'll get out of this series is like a bunch of characters being drawn from each one of these series, with Captain Carter leading it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is just like that joke we put out about like Miles Morales saying like, "Yo, y'all stole my whole flow, word for word, bar for bar." It's a similar concept.
Yeah, but no, Exiles is Marvel stuff.
No, I know. But you understand what I'm saying. I think everyone listening understands what I'm saying. Just the fact that you have all these parallels being drawn to stuff that new content and old, and the Exiles as you're referring to.
Oh yeah, definitely. Marvel don't mess around. They don't miss a dollar.
Got it.
Yeah.
So with this episode, and also within the No Way Home trailer, like I saw a lot of parallels there. And again, this there could be obvious connection. There could be absolutely no connection. But I also don't believe in coincidences. Like for example, in the trailer, you see like the world doing an Inception impression. Like you see the city bending in on itself, folding in on itself, and you see that happening again within this episode. Like you see what happens when you tamper with space and time, right? As Wong says, don't tamper with reality, as the Ancient One says. And you see what happens, like besides people just fading out of existence, you see just strange things happening and occurring, things that shouldn't occur based on, physics.
Yeah. I mean, when the world, when motherfuckers is melting away into shadow and things are floating. I swear I've seen that ending in an anime before. Like when it was like the city is floating. I mean, I know Akira, everything floats up.
Final Fantasy.
Felt like Dark City, something really tragic with some tentacle action happening. But yeah, that was, fuck around and find out is, what happened in this episode.
Like your shirt.
Yes.
Big ups to our TeePublic page, tpublic.com/stores/forallnerds. You can get that. Would you like to F around and find out? Shirt, that beautiful design that Benhameen has on. And you would know what he has on if you're on our Twitch right now, twitch.tv/forallnerds. What up, chat? We love you. We see you. And as I said, there's more. Like, I keep seeing, like, similar themes happening, or, like, literally similar visuals happening. Like, that when they're trying to, like, signify time travel or something moving between dimensions, they have, like, that colorful tunnel of light And that reference of time travel, same thing that's referenced in those old Loki trailers. We see that in the No Way Home trailer. We see that again here. Like, I just keep seeing these same things happening over and over again. So I'm just like, this isn't a coincidence, y'all. You telling me there's no connection? None.
I'm telling you, slight. Like, it's like, time travel, visuals. It's like,
yeah,
that's just the,
and the connection I'm really speaking about is, as like, we don't really know what caused Strange's spell to fail, or if it even really did fail, or what. Like, for all we know, events that happen in a Disney Plus show are coinciding with what's happening with this film. Like events of Loki, maybe, or events of WandaVision, or events of something happening in What If, maybe.
Events of my man giving that speech in Winter Soldier. I just don't.
Not the speech. No, not you saying that. Wait, not you saying that the Falcon speech caused the fucking Nexus event in the fucking space time of No Way Home. Oh my God, the speech wasn't that good.
Everything. No, I don't. I just don't think so. Like, as much as Disney is like, you gotta watch everything right now.
Yeah,
it's also
I hate them for it because I'm watching everything.
Yeah, they also are like, they gotta know, like a big ass movie like Doctor Strange, which has its own story to tell, and from what we've heard, might have the motherfucking X-Men or someone from the Fox universe is supposed to be in it. Like, they got a lot already to handle. For them to be like, and then remember that show from 2 years ago?
But I don't put nothing behind Marvel.
That 30-minute show?
You see what they did, and I don't know. I feel like was this on? I feel like it's even dumb to say, was this on purpose? Because they fucking know. For example, when the No Way Home trailer dropped, it was the same day as on the date that was circled with a heart on WandaVision. August 28th, I believe, was the day, or the 27th. One of them.
Sony controls that, though.
I understand that, but still. It was Mephisto.
We need like the X-Files music playing right now. Somebody says the truth is out there, boy.
Or Charlie, or put up the Charlie sign, the Charlie from It's Sunny in Philadelphia. But I say all that just because, like, I think these are great conversations. Like, yes, a lot of these may just be off base, but it's fun to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, just in terms of like kind of these comparisons that we're making in the No Way Home trailer, remember when Doctor Strange hit Peter Parker and we see him separate his soul from his body, just like how the Ancient One did to Doctor Strange in that first movie. Yeah. When he first came out of temple, and she explained that she pushed his astral form out of his physical form. Mm-hmm. Same situation. Strange learned some new tricks. Okay. Or could it also be interpreted another way? Is this Doctor Strange splitting Peter Parker's essence and his soul into two, just like how the Ancient One does to Strange in this episode?
Remember that movie from 2 years ago? It just happened to come out the same week as our trailer. Otherwise, you would not be making these connections.
I also say this because, like, I want people to like start thinking like this. Like, think about all the different ways that this could go down. Okay.
Look, this shit is a 30-minute summertime show, dog. Everybody died. That's the connection.
This is big fucking facts, man.
Like, I think that, like, these what if things, like, that's what I'm happy about that they're not doing either. It's like, sometimes it's just that, like, it's just everybody takes the L, and that's that.
That leads into the next section, Benhameen. Since everyone takes the L, what kind of story is this?
Tragedy. It's a
tragic stress.
Tragedy. We've talked about this before, and this is something I actually really learned recently. I think it's something we all know inherently, but it's something I really just peeped, and now I've been really looking at it. That in storytelling, 90% of stories that are produced or made that we see are comedic arcs. And that means their characters they start off at a point, and from there they pretty much go through a bunch of bad things. Doop, 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 doop. They might have some ups, but still down, 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 until at the end of it, at the extra moment, right at the climax of the story, they achieve something and it ends on a high note. While the other 10% of stories and about 90% of what if stories are the characters go through things and it seems to be going well for them and they seem to be learning a lesson and they seem to be achieving their goal. And we're going to see that moment at the end where they overcome everything. Wrong. The moment at the climax is a failure and they take the L and there is a tragic moment. Or, as in the classic Dan Harmon storytelling circle, which you got to Google Dan Harmon storytelling circle. But at one point, a character usually achieves their goals. You know, that's like the climax of it. You know, you win, you achieve your goals, and you usually pay a heavy price and you learn that your goals weren't what you want. And then you figure out what you want in the third and fourth act, what you really want, and then you achieve that. That's the comedic, comedy, because it's basically that in classic storytelling, there's comedy and tragedy, right? So that's the comedic role of it. But in the tragedy, you pay that heavy price, you learn that ain't what you want, but you still keep going for it, still thinking you can achieve that. As Doctor Strange does in this episode. Basically, and this episode is so dope in terms of like writing. I love it because it's split into 3 really easily defined acts, right? Like the first act, Stephen takes his L, Christine dies, he's set on this path. Christine dying sets him on the path. That makes this day different than any other day. He learns magic, woo, 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 defeats Dormammu, does all this shit. Just so you can pretty much get to the time stone and be like, haha, now I can try and go save him.
Did you say Dormammu?
Dormammu.
Dormain. Main?
Dormammu?
It's Dormammu. I was just making fun of
Dormammu.
Yes.
Dormammu.
It's Dormammu.
Yeah, Dormammu. All right, so he goes back and he gets a time stone. And then he tries something, which is something in writing, right? The character tries something. Christine dies. Again. Fuck. All right, end of the first act is when he's like, that's not working. I got to try something else. I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to find this library. That's the second act. And then that leads into him doing the dark magic and, eating up everybody. Womp, womp, womp. And then we go right into the, from that, now he's got the dark magic. He's going to try that shit. And he tries that shit. And that's when the third act starts with Steven also in the future, whatever, in the regular timeline, because this dude's now come unfrozen from his hundreds of years. So he's making a move. Time starts falling apart immediately. Steven's like, oh, what can I do? Go back and battle this guy. Steven
battle yourself.
And remember, in this storyline, the protagonist, the one who is moving the story, is the evil Steven, right? That
they call him Strange. They call him Strange Supreme.
Okay, Strange Supreme. So the antagonist is Doctor Strange, our guy. You know? So he's trying to stop this man from achieving his goals. He fails. And this man achieves his goals, and his goal is to get his shorty back. He gets his shorty back, but he's a monster. She's shook. The world is ending. He pays every price, but then he keeps going. He's like, nah, fuck that. I can still fix this, which leads to the Watcher being like, and
can I say I was crying when, like you said, the Watcher gave him that sincere gift look, like I can't help you, dog. Like that shit had me on the floor,
and it's just faded out,
and then faded out to black. Did the peace sign and just faded. Like, first of all, just having the audacity
stage left, even
having the audacity to do all of that shit. Get to the point where reality is collapsing in on itself, and then you go, hey, mans, can you give me a hand here? Like, the audacity. I was just like, this is your fault, nigga. Like, what are you talking about right now?
This nigga's all mad at him. Hey, you're a guy. You can do something.
Like, nobody told you to do all this. Nobody told you to be, like, sitting in your grief. Like, nobody told you to become a Dementor. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, oh, my God. Like, okay.
So just a perfectly told story, of tragedy, basically, because in third act he achieves his goal, but his goal ain't what he wanted, but he keeps going after it anyway, and it ends to the doom of everyone. Everyone takes the L. Finito. And like I say, I do that.
I immediately thought of the song Finito, but continue.
I just don't, like, I hope that not all of these lead to some exile shit. Like, I don't want to see this dude come back as the villain in another story. There's gotta be
more than one episode, Ben, where it's going to end in fucking tragedy. There's like 30 episodes.
Yeah, I don't want it to be every story. Like, I don't want this guy to come back as the villain in the next one, oh, remember when I destroyed the universe? Now, no, no.
Your
This is
timeline
it.
is done, sir.
Yeah.
How did he do a self-prune? He did a self-prune of his whole motherfucking timeline, bro.
And then you peeped, he tried to stop it with some hexagonal shit. You know, he tried to come with that red hexagonal. Then he went purple hexagonal. He went all the way.
He tried all the color. He tried all the Infinity Stones.
Wait, what was it? My man tried ludicrous colors, boy.
Ludicrous speed. Ludicrous colors, and nothing worked.
Nothing worked. Dude was just like...
Let's talk about... Peace off to exit stage left.
Exit stage left even.
Let's talk about now. These are not Charlie Day situations. This is real. Like, let's talk about the Doctor Strange movie parallels, because I mentioned, like, just like how that actual scene of that car crash in the beginning was shot for shot exactly the same. There are parallels or repeats of what you've seen in the movie. So as we see in this episode of What If, Christine dies 11 times. A variety of different ways, which actually parallels how Steven died over and over and over again when he went to Dormammu's lair to bargain or universe to bargain. And in the movie, he uses the time stone to reverse the outcome and basically just keeps trying over and over again. He mentions that, you know, I can keep losing over and over forever, and that makes you my prisoner. That basically, Dormammu says, oh, hell nah, I am an introvert. I'm not with this shit. I don't need you in my space. So that ends up making him win. And it just reminded me also of like those time loop prisons that Loki introduced, the time loop prison where like you lived to that worst memory or that worst action over and over again.
Also, you want to talk about parallels and Dormammu. In this episode, Steven basically turns into Dormammu and destroys the universe. And
oh my God, he does.
Yeah, and does what Dormammu was basically trying to attempt to do. And there's even when he's having to fight with the good Steven, while Steven still has the regular yellow circles of magic around his hands, he has the flaming red circle, which is traditionally associated with Dormammu having the traditional flaming red head and flaming red circles around his hands. So
got it. Damn.
Yeah.
Live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh, it happens.
It happens. We also get that when Steven is learning...
Destroying the universe, you know. Who hasn't done that?
When Steven is learning to use the Eye of Agamotto... When Steven's learning to use the Eye of Agamotto, you see that apple scene where he like changes time backwards and forwards to see the apple been eaten and all the way down to a core, then back to whole again. That is repeated in this What If episode. Just them talking again, Wong and the Ancient One just explaining, you can't tinker with time. You'll weaken the fabric of the universe. We protect reality. We don't threaten it. Those same sentiments are echoed again in What If. And that you literally see reality coming apart at the seams in this episode. You get lots of cloak of levitation action. The capes are fighting. You get that. More Wong don't trust white men energy. I love it. These white men are dangerous energy. I feel like he's constantly babysitting this man and telling him, don't fucking do that spell. Don't fucking do this. What did he say to him in this episode? He said, I suggest you mind your business. He didn't say it like that, but he was like, I suggest you, don't do anything reckless. That's what he said.
Yeah, he said, I suggest you come downstairs, have some of this tea, chill your ass out before you do something stupid, as you white men are, akin to do. Oh, man. Prone to do.
And once again, people of color constantly telling Stephen Strange that he's delusional. He's worried about the wrong things. He's doing wrong. But guess what? He keeps doing what he wants to do.
I mean,
just like in the movie.
Yeah, I think Rodimus pointed this out. Like, in every Marvel movie, if they don't listen to their person of color friend, things go terrible for them. And
things go left every time.
He did not listen to his person of color friend. TM, POC friend.
POC friend TM. I like that.
Yeah. Person of color friend.
Standard POC friend.
Yeah, we gotta make it where it's something that actually works.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
This leads us to the implications of this episode. There are a lot. There are a lot of them. Friend of Whitey TM.
Foul.
The implications of this episode run far and deep. As we know, we learned about what absolute points are. Christine's death is considered an absolute point. Strange is trying to reverse that, right? He's like, nothing's impossible. I can fix this. And, as he learned about the Eye of Agamotto, he knows that there is a book that from Cagliostro that he needs more information because there's got to be a way to reverse this shit. There's got to be a way to overcome this absolute point. So it's understood that he actually travels back into the past to find the lost library of Cagliostro, where he meets a wise colored man named Obang. And
Obey.
Oh, excuse me. Wait.
Yeah.
Is it Obey?
It's Obey. That's the funny shit. This nigga's name is Obey. Like, lay it down, homie.
I thought it was Obang, but it's Obey.
No, it's Obey, baby.
You're right. It's Obey.
It's like comic readers know that. Like, they love them some puns, and they will take anything to make a pun, especially out of somebody's name, So, Obey. My man's name is Obey. Of course he's the evil wizard, Cagliostro. His name is Obey. You didn't see this coming,
Well, yes, exactly what Ben said. Now, in the What If episode, he says he's not that guy, but in the comics,
you're not that guy.
Obey is Cagliostro. So, whatever.
No, he says that he's here, there, and everywhere. Which, he basically gives him the Jesus answer. Like when they asked Jesus who he was like, I am who I am. I'm, you know what it is, fam. Obey. You hear my name, dog.
He gave the Kang answer.
Yeah.
Oh, there's multiple versions of me. I could be here. I may not be there. Like, what the fuck? This is Dr. Seuss. What the fuck are you talking about, sir?
I just told you my name is Obey. You get what it is, right? Get down or lay down. There are two choices here.
All right.
Support for For All Nerds is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Look, we might be in the multiverse of madness, but that doesn't mean your sacred timeline shouldn't be pruned free of variance. It was a lot of close shaves for Captain Carter in this episode, and she shouldn't be the only one. Take 20% off and free worldwide shipping right now with the code FORALLNERDS at manscaped.com.
Stephen Strange ends up in this lost library. He goes through and finds this book about time manipulation and essentially finds out that he needs an ungodly amount of power in order to achieve to break an absolute point, right? To do his limit break for you Final Fantasy fans out there.
Hell yeah, boy.
And in order to do that, he finds out that if he himself does not possess the power, he can absorb other beings in order to get that power. So what does this nigga do? He takes centuries to absorb nightmare creatures from all dimensions.
Lawn gnomes.
And I just the audacity that it takes to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking tough it out, and I'm gonna absorb every motherfucking body. Who gives a fuck? Like he's summoning beings, and like these are beings that are alive and cognizant and all this other stuff. He's summoning these things out of wherever the fuck and just absorbing them. Like there's no hi, bye, what's up? My name's it's just like, all right, give me your soul, give me your essence.
I mean, why not? You already done dragged him out of whatever reality they in. Like, ain't no time.
Could you imagine you just minding your fucking business playing Spider-Man on your PS5 and then you get fucking summoned to fucking Jafar Jr.'s lair and he just right away, I drink your milkshake like immediately.
The worst part is like the gnome, right? The gnome is like a level 1 dude, just started out in World of Warcraft. He's wandering around the opening village. And then suddenly, like this level 500 guy summons him to his dungeon.
I mean, if this was not classic, once again, I'm telling you, there are fans of Final Fantasy in here. If this was not classic Final Fantasy, where you walk a little too far into the next section that you're not supposed to go in because you have not grinded enough. And as Benhameen said, that level 500 beast tears your ass apart immediately.
It's happened to me many a time, boy.
And yeah, so Strange, he draws his transmutation circle from Full Metal Alchemist. He summons these shits. And the first thing he summons with the 500, I assume is Shumagorath, or a creature that resembles it, which is, I'm going to assume the same creature we saw in episode 1 that Peggy was fighting in that portal.
Mm-hmm. I would go with that. At this point, I would say it is Shumagorath that both of them have been fighting. And that's just to be a reoccurring theme until we see the whole Shumagorath.
All right. He summons the level -5 gnome. That the evil little. I don't even know if he was evil, but he was very feisty. He was very feisty. Like and I was just like, it's like on one hand I'm like that poor gnome, and then on the second hand I was like, ew, like get rid of it. So whatever.
I mean, but this is perspective. You know what I mean? Yeah, like what would you look like if you got dragged out of your house through different realities? Like, come on,
my nigga, I would have nothing to defend myself with.
Just like that gnome did. Nothing. He just got served. On a platter.
He summons the bug with the cape, and like I said, after he grabs that cape, he becomes Jafar.
Yes.
But Steven dismisses the bug. He doesn't absorb the bug. He says he draws the line at bugs, which I just thought was like, okay, that's the thing that stops you. Okay. But you are becoming a chimera of everything else. Anyway, does that bug signify something? Because I thought that line he said meant something then.
Yeah, because he's a goddamn liar. He does not, Stephen Strange does not draw the line at bugs. Okay. This is some random comic book knowledge that I know because, once again, I've just read a lot of random comic books in my time. And at one point, Stephen Strange was in this comic book called Strange Tales. It actually goes back to like the 60s, but they rebooted it in the 80s. And it was like 2 stories in each issue. One with Cloak and Dagger and one with Doctor Strange. And I like Cloak and Dagger. And the issue that I was reading is actually this classic issue. Some of y'all might know it, where Dagger gets thrown out of a plane and Cloak has to save her. And Dagger can't fly and all Cloak can do is teleport. So it's the whole issue, them trying to figure out how to save, each other by the end of it.
Damn.
It's an incredible, really well
They're
told.
playing a game of Portal.
Yeah, with some hard shit, with momentum working against them, and all kind of stuff. It's just a fire issue. And then the other story, which I really had no interest in, but I'm going to read it because it's in the comic, had Stephen Strange riding around on bugs with an eye patch, sucking the soul and life out of some random woman.
Wait, did you say with an iPad?
Eye patch. My man has
with an iPad. Like, what was the fuck? Okay.
No, this man had a Nick Fury eye patch and was riding around a giant demon bug, which had like 6 legs. It looked like a caterpillar with wings, and he is riding around it. Basically, at this point, Stephen Strange had lost his eye to this demon, like sorcerer or some shit. I don't know. I ain't read that issue. Like I said, I just read the issue where he comes in with the patch already. He lost his eye. He was losing with his regular magic. His teacher years ago had told him that he needed dark magic to be a better sorcerer. He rejected that ish. Now is coming back to fight him. So he went and got some dark magic, and he went and got it all. As we see, like I said, that's why this episode to me was not surprising. Nothing Stephen Strange did in this episode was surprising to me. It did not prove my theory that all MCU heroes are monsters. It just confirmed it because I already knew it coming in. Because, like I said, I already knew how Stephen Strange gets down. Because, like I said, in this issue, he rolls up on this bug with his eye patch. Oh, no, he's got the eye patch. He rolls up with the bug. This woman comes to help him. She's a sorcerer, too. He's like, thank you. And then, like, kisses her. And while kissing her, sucks the magic out of her instead of like letting her help, he just like, now I'll just take your magic and go do what I gotta do.
So he's Agnes from WandaVision.
Yes. I mean, he's way worse than this shit. My man is, and I never read anymore, so I really didn't know, but I knew that when this nigga said I draw the line of bugs, I was like, you're a goddamn liar, Stephen Strange. You don't draw the line of anything.
He's a liar and monsters let him monsters because, again, he absorbs Bran from Game of Thrones.
The 6-eyed raven.
Well, yeah, it's really 3-eyed raven, but in this case, it's 6-eyed. He absorbs Chen Long from DBZ. The dragon. He absorbs what looks to be a 2-headed ram.
He absorbs James Potter, Harry Potter's father, the Animus, the Animagus,
the demon moose.
The demon stag who can turn into a blue and white stag. My man said, Patronus imbibus. And, straight up imbibe that man. That's how he did. As soon as I saw it, I was like, damn, he just murdered James Potter.
He absorbs a wraith, or what I'm assuming to be a wraith, Ghost Rider's cousin of some sort. I don't know. Dracula
not?
potentially, because I saw it was like a man-sized bat. He absorbs Batman. Okay, all right. He absorbs an electric eel, a white wolf, a giant snake. Like, this man's just going to fucking town.
Hundreds of years of
for
this.
Hundreds of years, just
Yeah.
going.
How many a day was he doing?
How many civilizations did this man hit? Like, that's another, and that's why I said there's got to be more. I mean, Nexus events are different in our understanding, but there's got to be multiple catastrophes he caused by doing this shit.
Yeah.
There's got on other planets and other dimensions.
Yes, ruination for all kind of things. Hopefully that was all contained in this universe that he destroyed. You know, so it was like, well, I cleaned it all up at the end.
That's why they just allowed this to happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
they fucked up.
Yeah. That's done.
Honestly, that's what the Watcher said. Well, you done fucked up, kid. I don't know what to tell you.
I wash my hands of you.
Even the Watcher was like, yo, I could warn him. I could tell him this ain't the way to go, fam. But what about everybody else? No, I can't do that.
No, my man straight up said, besides, I doubt he listens. Dog, I thought he was snarky last week. This week, that man turned it all the way up, dog. That nigga said, besides,
yes,
I doubt he listens.
Yes. I had mentioned before about the Ancient One in this episode. She's not splitting his soul. She splits him into two. She splits Doctor Strange into two. So there could be an allowance for two possible timelines in one universe, which we find out is incredibly dangerous. And to quote Doctor Strange, silly. So it's a big gamble to make. But she meaning the Ancient One decides to do that, or they decide they want to do that, is because they knew they couldn't stop Strange. So the best they could do was weaken him by just at least splitting up the power. But as we all learned, Bizarro Strange is don't give a fuck. Ends up winning, ends up absorbing Steven.
Patronus Imbibus. Patronus Strangus.
Caused this temporal paradox. Causes a temporal paradox. Has the universe collapse in on itself to oblivion with the worst possible ending for everyone in this timeline.
I mean, there's worse. You know,
what's worse than you just fading out of existence and then the timeline collapsing on itself like a black hole? What's worse?
Wait for the Marvel Zombies episode and then ask me that question again, because, like, you know, instant oblivion, like, you might have been sleeping.
I'd rather be instant obliviated than
the zombies come and chasing me for like 3 months.
I'm good.
See, there you go.
Like every day is a nightmare. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just be like, what if you was sleeping? You know what I mean? And then you just dunned off. Like, okay.
Would you know? And that's the thing. Like, that's just like when besides people like Peter Parker with like special abilities, would you know that it's happening? Like, people didn't know they were getting infinity faded. No. But people know that their essence, like, it seemed like they were in the middle of action when Strange went outside and saw people and things being faded out of reality.
They didn't even seem to notice themselves.
They didn't notice. That's why I'm just like, you wouldn't even know, right?
Yeah. Ugh. And Wong didn't seem that bothered. He was chilling.
Wong is chilling because first of all, Wong is trained. Okay, he's a trained sorcerer, and he's like, look, let me do what I can before I catch the bad one, before I suffer the true death.
Also, Wong's when he said, besides, I gotta save you. Was so classic. Like, yeah, I'm dead. Wong was like, right there. Wong was like, yeah, it's over for me.
It's quiet for me.
Yeah. Soon as he's like, but I gotta save you. He was like, well.
Now,
these
besides the Watcher,
men are dangerous.
Besides the Watcher being like, you know, extra snarky this episode and explaining, you know, basically once again he can't intervene. The thing I found interesting in this episode was, as far as we know up until this point, is Doctor Strange the only being that can sense the presence of the Watcher?
As far as we know, but that's more the Watcher just hiding from it, because in the comics, as everyone knows, this man eventually talks to everyone and their mama, interferes all kind of times, and does all kind of shit. So, yeah.
Right. So it's basically if the Watcher wants you to know he's there, he will let you know he's there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to be specially equipped or anything like that.
That Negro is taught that. Wolverine ran up in his crib one time.
Okay, that's random.
Yeah, Watcher lives on the moon, bitch.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, wait, what? The
playing
blue area
golf
of the
with
moon,
Dave Chappelle on the moon, bitch.
Right. I was just trying to understand, was it because Strange was Sorcerer Supreme, or because at that point he was?
Yeah.
He was
At that
Bizarro.
point.
Bizarro
Yeah, and
like,
because he'd already absorbed like probably 11
like,
Sorcerer Supremes.
Like, do you have to be of a certain level being? Do you have to be level 35 before you get to see the Watcher, or like, he's available to anybody as as a side quest? I don't know.
But when Wolverine ran up in his crib on the moon, that man was like, he kind of appeared to him on like a television screen. Like it was just his face on the screen, and then he just bounced him out the crib, like, get the fuck out of my crib, and that was it. It was like, there was no like,
out of here.
That was it. It was like 2 panels, it was like he was in the crib, but he was out of the crib. So the Watcher ain't to be messed with.
All right, but I mean, let's talk about these characters. As we know, like I said, the Watcher got a lot more screen time, at least. Voiced by Jeffrey Wright. This was, again, the best that we've seen of the Watcher thus far. I really liked it. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my god! The way that nigga just deuced out into the I can't believe that's not already the GIF. I need the GIF of that. Just fade him.
And they didn't need to animate him. They didn't need to animate him being all sad when he was like, "I could warn him."
Yeah,
I could. I'm just like, he don't give a fuck. He ain't gonna help.
Nah, he's seen it before. He'll see it again.
Right. Doctor Stephen Strange / Strange Supreme was voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. Or I just keep remembering like years ago all the memes about all the different ways you can say his name. I just did want to say that Strange Supreme slapped the taste out of that nigga Steven's mouth. He hit that nigga so hard the runes came off, my guy. So
he left that nigga saying no. That was all he had. No.
Slap. What did the 5 fingers say to the face?
That man had nothing left, dog. He was just like, no. No, he wasn't ready. You gonna learn.
Obey,
boy.
Played by, and I apologize if I mispronounced, Ike Amadi. That person, he is another prolific voice actor. Actually, he voiced Aaron Davis in the Miles Morales game. He voiced M'Baku in Avengers Assemble and a bunch of other like game and fandom related characters across Marvel, DC, and more, even Star Wars animated series. He does say to Strange at one point, "You used magic to remain frozen for centuries. I chose to live." Now that hits a little different because you just told me that regardless of what he says, this man is still Cagliostro, or however you pronounce the guy's name, and Cagliostro, he's evil.
Yeah, but it's debatable if he's that same, well, I mean, not debatable. We don't know. We haven't seen, maybe we'll see later on if he is the evil version that he is in the comics, or if he is just Obey, who just runs this library and, get down or lay down, Obey. It depends. Okay. We don't know.
All right.
He seemed to be chilling.
He seemed to be chilling to me, so that's why I was like, all right, whatever. I did notice he has one blue eye and one brown eye. Not sure what that signifies, but besides just how he's drawn.
No, I don't know. That's just how you get down.
Okay.
He's fresh like that. You know what I mean?
Those his color contacts. All right. Yeah. Dr. Christine Palmer, voiced by Rachel McAdams.
Before we get to that, on that note, the other day, I saw some dude selling weed. I think they, because weed's legal in New York, so people just sell it on the street now. I've seen, and this dude had like the Oro Monroe white contacts, where you couldn't see his.
You can see his corny pupils or whatever.
Nothing. It was just all white.
Yeah.
Don't sell weed if you're doing that, fam. It's not gonna work out. I kept walking. You know what I mean? You're afraid the shit
scary.
Out of me. Yeah, it's horrifying, dog. I'm trying to buy some weed. Not, come on. Fuck out of here. All right.
As I mentioned, Rachel McAdams reprises her role as Dr. Christine Palmer. She voices it. Tilda Swinton returns as the.
Can't give no love to Rachel McAdams.
What do you want to say about her? She died a fucking million times.
Yeah, but I also thought I liked her, and I really liked her in Doctor Strange. I like her as an actress, but I also thought she was great in this. I thought their relationship in this was even better than in the movie. Like, it really made me feel for them in this. In the quick time they had, and that's great writing and great acting.
I mean, I was, like I said, as I said at the top, I think this version of the story was really, really strong and on par with film level. So, the Ancient Run, played again by Tilda Swinton. There is an amazing, this is neither here nor there, but there's an amazing Twitter account called Not Tilda Swinton that I absolutely love. It's my favorite fucking account for years. And
I haven't seen that one.
It speaks as if it's Tilda Swinton. And Tilda is a very special character, if you will. So just go to that account and y'all see what I'm talking about. Do you have anything to say about Tilda before I move on?
I mean, other than, I know people are going to be mad about her being the Ancient One again. Whatever. Let's move on. We're done. Yeah, it happened. She's a great actress.
Yeah. And they're not changing it at this point. So
no.
And also, they're going to use the excuse, well, it's the multiverse. There's different versions of the Ancient One.
And in this episode, they also gave you a reason how she could come back like a damn Force ghost, like she Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan showing up.
She came back the same way, and then was it not was it an Endgame or was it Infinity War? She did come back as an astral projection.
No, but in Infinity War, she's still alive at that point in Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Endgame, she's still alive.
So was it Doctor Strange? And maybe I missed that part, but she did come back after she died. She did come back as an astral projection in one of those films.
No, she's been. I don't know. Maybe in Doctor Strange, but because she dies in Doctor Strange and then comes back.
She comes. So in Doctor Strange, that might be when she did the projection.
I don't know, but it was. Cause I thought this was the first time they did it, where it's like, she could come back to life.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, you've seen her be astral, but was she dead? That's what I'm saying. She was dead.
Was.
Yeah, no, she wasn't dead though at those points. No. She's not dead in Endgame. During the timeline, her character's still alive. In Endgame, remember, that's what she said. Strange is still being a doctor off somewhere. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme right now. When Hulk comes to get the shit from her.
And my boy Benedict Wong reprising his role as Wong. He is my favorite. Wong, don't play that fucking shit. Wong is Wong. He is also, even though, like I said, he got the rune slapped off of him, he's the one who provides Guardian Vishanti's heavy duty protection spell on Steven before he inevitably catches the bad one.
Yeah. Vishanti, Cyrotac, what are some of the other ones? Those are two that always stick in my head. It's these gods that are just always associated with Doctor Strange, like by the protection spells of Vishanti, by the visor of Vishanti. That's what it is. That's what he always says.
Oh, the vizier?
The vizier of Vishanti. Yeah, I never knew because that's the only time I've ever even seen that word. Is
I've heard it in Disney movies. Yeah. Jafar.
Yeah, the vizier of Vishanti.
The king's vizier.
Yeah, the vizier of Vishanti. And then the crimson bands of Cyrotac, which I thought were used in Infinity War when Strange yanks up Thanos and Dr. Evil Strange yanks up Good Strange in this with the same crimson bands. But they're not really crimson.
Did you say Dr. Evil Strange?
Yeah, Dr. Evil Strange. Oh, that's a good one though, right? Dr. Evil.
Good job. Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Evil Strange.
Yes, exactly.
There we go. Nice.
Wanted to make sure you caught it.
Yeah. So the Crimson Bands of Cyrotac. And side note, Juggernaut, Professor X's brother, or half brother, is also powered by the Crimson Bands of Cyrotac. That's by the god Cyrotac. He's powered by a crimson crystal from Cyrotac.
Okay, so this red color is prevalent.
Yes, that's why Juggernaut, gets big and strong, etc. And the Crimson Bands is what that was like in every Doctor Strange comic. He was always hitting somebody with them Crimson Bands of Cyrotac. Like, hold that, Holmes.
Hold this L.
Yeah, chill out real quick. Whap, take the Crimson Bands. Chill out real quick.
As we were talking about like the overall concept of this episode and the characters, we said a lot of the Easter eggs already, and inspirations and stuff. And like I said, I'm sure there were themes from Doctor Strange in there that were thrown in. And again, besides just like the mirror images that you saw from the film to to translate over to animation, just beautifully done once again. I really want to just reiterate how much I love this cell shaded look, and even in this in darkened tone and even darkened in approach and the way that this episode was animated, I still felt a lot of vibrancy from it.
Oh man, I loved it, especially even in the way like the cape fighting scene, the way the camera was following the capes across the ground as they're darting to and fro.
The camera work was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Because that whole fight scene, how it went from the capes and then back to them and then back to the capes and then they're doing all this bid magic, but it was all easily followable. And then, it ended with the Tony, no.
You make it like a fucking simp, bro.
Dog, he was whimpering, dog. He was straight whimpering. He was like, no. Mom, he was done. I mean, I feel him. Like, after that, he knows what's coming. L's for everyone. So,
yikes.
And my man, like you said, beat the fucking Patron, the
Patronus,
the vizier off him. My man beat the Vishanti out this man.
Oh my god. Anything else you want to say about this episode, Ben? I mean, anything we may have missed, themes or stuff that we should be reading to help us understand these characters or stories?
I mean, I barely know anything about Doctor Strange other than like peripheral knowledge, and random comics like that one that I read that, traumatized me as a kid because I can never forget it. That Doctor Strange hopped on this bug and flew off into the sky after he'd sucked the life out of this woman. It's like things like that stick with you. You know what I mean? So, no.
Doctor Strange flying on bugs like Ant-Man flies on bugs?
Yes. And like, there was the whole sucking the life out of the woman after she offered to help him. That was like, wow, Doctor Strange. All right.
Man's is grimy. Like, he has a history of grime. Like,
you go from this Cloak and Dagger issue where they're helping each other, after falling out of a plane and they're helping each other live. And in the next issue, Doctor Strange is riding bugs and sucking life. It's a dichotomy. So yeah, no, I would recommend, I don't know, there's a new Doctor Strange series out right now that I haven't read yet, the Many Deaths of Doctor Strange. And as always, I would recommend Al Ewing because he just started a new series, The Defenders, which features Doctor Strange. And the opening of that shit alone was, worth the money if you want some Doctor Strange action, in my opinion. Because I was like, ooh, okay, that's that Doctor Strange that I know and love. Like, ill, mystic weirdness. Like, I mean, Doctor Strange was done at one point by like Steve Ditko, and he did a lot of the weird shit. And then your man's who you've met, was crazy, white boy with the white hair who we met together with the sunglasses. Oh God, why is his name slipping my mind?
That's right a lot. That's actually
Steranko.
Oh, Steranko. Yeah.
Steranko.
Well, you said boy. You mean grown ass man with the aviator shades.
With the aviators, he had them. He had the aviators and the white hair. Steranko is a wild boy, but he did a run on Strange that is just phenomenal shit. Like some of the illest 60s and 70s psychedelic art and all this weirdness, So yeah, there's some great Doctor Strange out there. I just ain't read as much as I should.
Well, as far as my understanding, this is the end of Strange Supreme. He fucked up his own self. And that is the end of our review of episode 4 of What If. Thank you everybody who has joined us, who is listening, watching us, whether you're watching us on YouTube right now, or maybe you're over on Facebook because the feed is mirroring over there, or you're even somehow seeing us on Twitter, whatever. Hey, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. But where you really should be is Twitch, twitch.tv/4allnerds, because when you're in there, you can do a few things. You can chat with us because every time we go live, we are chatting in the chat box with you, talking about all of the things that you are listening. Make sure that a couple of things, if you are able, please subscribe to us on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, which like 85% of y'all do, make sure you are using your free Twitch subscription to a channel of your choice. Let that channel be For All Nerds. If you're unsure of how to make that connection, me or Ben or somebody's going to put a link in the chat right around now just to let you know how to make that connection to your Amazon account and your Twitch account. What else? You can support us a multitude of different ways. Make sure you are following or subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform. Look for All Nerds, and that's how you get views from the 616, the MCU-focused podcast. You can follow us individually and chat it up with us. I'm at Tatiana King. He's at DJ Benhameen. You can also join our fearless, incredible, amazing, stupendous, everlasting For All Nerds fam on our Patreon. Patreon.com/forallnerds. Any tier is a good tier, okay? Certain tiers has more benefits than others, but every tier gets benefits. So make sure that you are a patron if you can. And hit up our TeePublic page. You see that amazing yellow long sleeve tee that DJ Benhameen is rocking. The Would You Like to F Around and Find Out? Miss Menace shirt. That design you can get not only on a shirt, you can get it on a phone case if you want it, a tote, a pillow, a book, whatever you like. You can get that along with just some exquisite designs from our partners and friends. Hit up tpublic.com/stores with an S/forallnerds. And make sure you're following just For All Nerds and Views from 616 on socials. Ben, did I miss anything, sir?
Yes, we're on TikTok.
Yes!
For All Nerds are on TikTok at For All Nerds on your TikTok application. Go ahead and follow us over there because we got wild TikToks already and some. Is that what they're called? I don't know.
Wild
How you doing,
TikToks,
fellow kids?